Hello, conscious mothers. It's Honor here. I'm excited to connect with you today. Happy to be here talking with you about a huge topic, which is stopping anger in its tracks so that we can stop yelling at our kids. This is something coming up so big for people with all the stress that's going on in the world right now. And I'm happy to be a space for connection around this. My intention for today is to really help you to tune in more with yourself and to be present with what's going on inside of you so that you can create any changes that need to be made. It's not just presence for the sake of being mindful about it, to know, oh, I'm yelling at my kids. I think you're going to like this talk because what we're really focusing on is awareness for the sake of change. So, hi, you guys. Come on, tell me if you can hear me all right. This sounds really funny to me, but I'm hoping it's fine for you. Tell me if and when you're on, and then we'll get started in a second. It's quiet out there. Hi, ladies. I see you coming on now. Hello, conscious mothers. Hello, awakened mothers. See some awakened mothers. I'm so excited to be with you here today and to help you to see what areas of yourself and your life you want to shift. And that really is what the purpose and my intention is for coming to be with you today. It's not so that we can hear where things are going badly, or so that we can beat ourselves up about it, or look at all the reasons from ways we're broken, reasons why we're not being the mom we want to be. Those are all different forms of distraction, of avoidance, of stalling, of entertaining thoughts of failure is just not actually creating change. It's not moving forward. So I'm here to hold up a mirror for you today and say, if you're yelling at your kids, what is going on that you are not looking at and that you're not addressing, right? Now, I've yelled. Probably everyone here has yelled. Well, maybe not. You know what they say about assumptions. If you're so bold, so brave as to follow me in admissions, raise your hand. If you have lost it before, if you have raised your voice, if you have yelled, and you know what that's like, because we're going to be starting with that point. So what's really going on when you are, by the time you are yelling, shouting at a partner or at a kid, what is really going on? So there are a million steps in between my baseline of calm and the point where I'm snapping that I know about because I do this internal work every day. And if you haven't done awareness work, or you haven't worked with someone who can help you through this, then you might not know all of your little steps. And you might not know yourself well enough, be familiar with your own systems, your emotional body, your energetic body, your mental, your thoughts, your mental game. If you don't have control and power in those areas, then it's very normal to feel out of control, especially when stressors run high outside of you. So as the world gets more intense, as COVID keeps kicking, I remember I did a live back in March and said, are you ready to be doing this till August? And people were like, psh, August. Look where we are. So this is the time to gain ownership over you. This is the time to get control over the things that are not in control. Because if you're banking on, if your plan is, well, the kids will go back soon and then I'll have my space for me again, then I am afraid that that is not going to happen, and that you're going to stay feeling even more afraid and out of control because life isn't going back to whatever we thought was normal. And so here we are with lots of moms losing it. I can't get into today the horrors of the structures of having to work from home, because some problems I just have to know I can't solve. But this is a problem we have to solve on as a collective, but it starts with the individual. So we've got to know what's not working for us and what we want, and we got to be courageous enough to demand and command what we need and make those changes for ourselves. But today I'm just going to stick with where to begin. If you're yelling at your kids, by the time you're shouting at them to get them to do something you want them to do, you are out of control. And it's likely then that they are already out of control, or they will be very soon, because everyone is out of control of their nervous system. Everyone's out of their heads. There's no focal point. No one's living intentionally in those moments. And so, you know, I think the thing that we don't often connect is that we're yelling because we're trying to get in control, right? We feel out of control. And so what we're going to do today is look at what's really going on. Where does that take us to live in that kind of space, in reactive mode? Where does that take us? What's it doing to our kids and our families? And what's the answer? So what is the solution? And today I'll share with you the paradigm shift from feeling out of control, trying to control everyone in my environment, to being in true control of me and what that does for the family. Okay, this is what my clients are doing. It's what I'm teaching them to do, and the success stories that I'm hearing and seeing from them every day, from them, from my current clients, from my graduates, and this is a new movement that we're creating, the movement of awakened motherhood, of conscious motherhood, and really shredding these ideas and these beliefs that it has to be hard, or we have to suffer and struggle as much as the world tells us to right now. Okay, so that's where we're going today with this talk. All right, when you come on, say hi, hit the like button, let me know you're here. I'm excited to see some more of you jumping on. So we're talking about yelling, and the irony, and I put this in the post, the irony is that, you know, we're yelling to try to get everyone to do what we want them to do. Why? And why do we do that? We do it so we can feel calm. We do it from a place of needing everything else to be just so that we can feel ourselves again, so that we can stop being overwhelmed, because in overwhelm, we're really disconnected from ourselves, right? Think about this. We are yelling to try to get people to cooperate or things because we sense we're out of control. And I wrote this, like, the irony is that if the kids did comply, if the partner did just pick up and do what you were asking or yelling about, then in that moment there will be relief, right? In that moment we go, I can just calm down now. And there'd be relief. And then because we're burning for that level of frustration, because we're looking for things to go wrong, because we are feeling out of control of our own emotions and thoughts, we're gonna find other things to magnetize that cause us to feel frustrated and angry. We'll attract that. When you're attracting things that make you mad, you're going to keep attracting that until you shift what you are being inside. And sorry, there's no shortcut. That just is what it is. You got to pre-program yourself internally. The irony is, if everyone did line up and do exactly what you wanted them to do, you would find other things to feel sad about, feel mad about, feel frustrated about, to worry over. You would start worrying about the future then. If now was okay, you'd predict all the ways that you were failing and how that was going to poorly impact your kids, or how the economy was going to crash, you're going to lose your house or your job. You know what I'm talking about. Like, when you are wired for anxiety, when you're wired to be in overwhelm, your mind is going to find a way to go there. It just is, until you break that cycle. And so I think it's much easier for us to be like, he's causing me to be so upset, or my kids are off the hook because of COVID, because of quarantine, shelter in place. Everybody's inside. That's why things are so hard and they're so bonkers. That's why I'm overwhelmed, because of the conditions of my life. I'm overwhelmed. So I'm not discounting that this is a crazy, weird, emotional time to be on this planet. I also know that we have called this in. We have chosen to be here. And so if there's something going on that's shaking us to our core, we have two options. We can either resist that shaking and try to grip tighter, hang on tighter to the way things have always been and the way we've always just kind of held our breath to get through things or swept them under the rug, hoping maybe there'll be relief in the future. We can do that, option A, or we can do option B. What is happening inside of me? How do I take better care of me? How do I step into and find my authentic power? And that's the paradigm shift that I'm going to say something about in a moment. So, you know, when we're yelling at our kids because we're out of control, we're yelling because we're trying to feel more in control. We're yelling because we're trying to calm down. How ironic is that? We're yelling because we're trying to get them to stop being XYZ so we can start being connected to us again. And the change can never come in that direction. It can never come. We all know by our lived experience, when we practice anger, anger grows. When we practice frustration, it grows. When we practice feeling out of control, our life spirals out of control. And so do kids. So when we are expressing our anger on them, they will feel more out of control. And the core of it really is they feel so unsafe. They feel so unsafe when mommy's upset or when daddy is threatening, when mommy's threatening, they feel really unsafe. And that is the last thing we want for our kids, right? I talk to women all the time on the phone who say, I am being what I said I was never going to be. My mom yelled at me. My dad threatened me. I swore, I promised myself that if I brought kids in this world, I was never going to do that or be that. That I was going to create something different. And then we find ourselves in the middle of the frying pan, the fire, and we are enacting all of those old hardwired patterns. What was done to us, we're now doing to our kids. We're unconsciously engaging and acting and handing it down, and we see it happening, but we don't know how to interrupt it. We don't know how to shift and change it. We can't do it by working with the conditions. We can't do it through blame. We can't do it through trying to yell at our kids. We can't do it through trying to control circumstances. We just can't. Any success we have there is so fleeting. It doesn't last. It's an illusion. The only real and lasting change that we can create is from within ourselves. That is how systemic change happens, from within ourselves on an individual level, collectively, then opening our hearts to more. So I wrote in the post yesterday, it's not okay to yell at our kids. It's just not okay. And I really want to take a stand for that today. You know, I have a great sense of humor about parenting. I laugh and joke about it. I'm sarcastic about it. I make fun of myself with my friends. You know, I out myself all the time in my newsletters and my email blasts. And here I get really personal with you guys and saying like how I screw it up and how I make mistakes all the time. I'm okay with mistakes. Mistakes are learning. That's part of my ideology. Mistakes are learning. It's a way to become more successful in who we are and what we're doing. At the same time, I have to take a stand for what is not okay. And we are a group of mothers striving for more consciousness, opening to our higher selves, owning more fully the truth of who we are. That is what we're doing in my program with my clients, and it's the energy that I'm bringing here for you to be exposed to and immersed in so you can imagine something more for yourself, because it's really happening for people who are going there to do this work. And you guys, if you're ignoring your signs, if you're ignoring your overwhelm, you're ignoring your anxiety, your anger, and lashing out on your kids to vent it to them, and then going to them and saying, oh my God, I feel horrible, I'm so sorry. It doesn't matter how much you try to repair that. If it keeps happening again and again, then there's so much damage there. And you know it, which is why your heart hurts about it. And this is where women come onto the clarity calls, sort of, you know, afraid to really acknowledge what's going on with them, but ready to take ownership of it. So show me what I need to do to take ownership of it. And that is the sweet spot. That's the spot where we know what we're doing feels horrible. We feel so much guilt. We feel remorse. We want to change, but we don't know how. And here's the key. Everyone wants to change and nobody knows how. And that is okay. Like there's a reason why you don't know how. There's a reason why you don't know exactly the steps. And my guess is because you haven't learned them yet. You know, it's a pretty obvious answer. Like, I don't know anything I haven't sought to learn yet. I don't know anything that I have not immersed myself in yet. I don't know how, I haven't experienced anything until I have experienced it. Do you know what I mean? And you guys are the same. Like, there is no thing you can know in your body without having learned it, practiced it, been held in that space and supported through it. So, of course, if you're yelling at your kids, there are a million reasons why. And none of them matter. None of them matter because none of them are stopping you from yelling at your kids. So if we are yelling and losing control, then the issue is not, I have anger issues. The issue is I'm not in control of me. I am not in ownership of me. Every now and then I hear people say, I have anger issues. I've been to therapy for anger issues. And it's just one thin slice of the whole puzzle. Like what I find when I talk to people who have anger issues, you're highly sensitive and you don't know how to own that. You are an empath and you are bowled over. You are inundated with energy from everyone else around you, from the weight of the world. You're carrying it around, trying to fix it for everybody. No wonder you're angry. There are always reasons, you guys. There are a million reasons. And there are a million reasons why you haven't been able to fix it too. I talk to people who try to fix it alone. Not going to work. I talk to people who have read every book on the subject of raising your vibrational frequency and coming into emotional ownership and sense of agency and transformation and all these things. And again, reading, passive learning, doing it alone. No handbook. And what I find is that until you have engaged with the collective, with others, in shifting your thinking, shifting your beliefs, unveiling who you are to you so you can take ownership of that. At that point, we're able to master our empathic nature. We're able to master our high sensitivities. You know, some of us are like, can't stand to hear our kids shriek or make noise or clang things or whatever. And I'm one of those people. And so I have to create my home environment, run my house in a way that is aligned for me. It's not going to look like how anybody else does it. I'm so good with that. I don't care how anybody else's house looks on the inside. And I don't care what anyone else thinks of mine on the inside either. I run it in the way that works for me and my family. And that is the flip side of feeling out of control, reacting in anger. Is like, it's going the way I want it to go. Yeah, there are days that suck or moments that are hard or whatever, or I slip or I forget to connect with me or whatever. And that's being human. And from those, there's a lot of rich learning. But if we stay on that side of, oh my God, the world is so crazy, that is why I feel like this. Like, it can be true, but is it giving you that transformation you want? Is it stopping you from yelling at your kids? Is that the solution for anxiety, to say that's why I feel so bad or angry? Or is it just kind of waving the flag and saying I'm justified in my anger? And you guys, it's not okay for us to yell at our kids. It's not okay. It's not okay. So if you're feeling out of control of your anger, then your first step is really going to be, instead of blaming anyone else for it or blaming conditions for it or beating yourself up for it, we have to stop doing that. We have to stop doing that. We have to go, what power do I have available to me now? What resources do I have available to me now? And get cracking. Get cracking on that. If you are thinking, or you are waiting for the rescue, if you're waiting for the rescue, then, and it's not going to come, then it's going to just continue to get so much harder to drag ourselves through this. And this is the time for epic change. This is time for epic, epic change. My clients now are, the work is the results that they are able to get, the awareness that's coming in, the rate at which it's coming in is growing exponentially. And over the last few months, it has sped up. It's epic what's moving for people right now. If you were to open yourself up to support, to learning, to growth right now, it's going to be epic. You're going to get to experience things that would have taken you a lot longer before. And so I want to just put out there this piece of the paradigm shift. And I've been sort of naming it all through this talk, but really the shift from, I am so filled up with resentment, or I'm so depleted because I'm feeling the weight of the world on me, or I'm so angry that things are the way they are and I don't know how to change it, or I haven't been able to change it on my own, or I'm so scared I'm just walking around terrified. A lot of us are walking around terrified right now. Just how do we get through this? How do we get through? How do we go through the fall and our kids aren't really back in school yet and we're having PTSD still about the spring? Like, what do I do? How do I cope with that? And if you're feeling those things, it is time for you to shift and up level. If you're feeling those things, then what that is telling us is the old paradigm of, I need all of you to just kind of cooperate and do exactly what I say to do, and nobody have a bad day, so I can feel good. Like, I need life to be like this so that, and conditions to be like this so that I can just keep plugging away. That's the old paradigm. And it really is shifting now. The shift is toward nobody's in charge of us, but we are in charge of us. And as mothers, what that means for us is I set the tone for my whole family. I set the atmosphere, the emotional atmosphere for my marriage and for my household, because we're all here. And so nobody's going to do that work but me. And I'm okay with that. I'm not making any meaning of that they're not leading me. I'm going to lead me. And then that is going to have a positive impact on them when I am in charge of me. Okay? Are you guys still with me? So instead of resenting, instead of dragging through feeling depleted, instead of yelling, snapping, yelling, and then feeling guilty, and then feeling horrible, and then beating myself up and losing days to that, which that can go quickly to hopelessness, despair, depression, like wanting to withdraw from life. These are real things that people are feeling every day. So if you're feeling those things, then I invite you to allow that to be a wake-up call for you. And I say all the time, anxiety is a wake-up call. It is a call to action. And I invite you to see the yelling instead of as a thing to feel guilty about or try to force yourself to stop. It doesn't work to like stop a train, it's going 60 miles an hour. How fast does a train go? I have no idea. You can't stop on a dime. You cannot stop the train with all that momentum on a dime. When you are worked up all the time, when you're jacked up, when you're mad, it doesn't work to go, I just need to breathe and calm down in the moment. Like, no, there's much bigger things that need to be happening. There's much bigger systemic changes that need to be made. Okay, so if you're kind of going like, why am I failing? And I should be able to do this. I should be able to. It just doesn't work that way. We cannot should ourselves into calm or zen when our go-to, our primary set of kind of our emotional home is intensity, or is worry, or is anxiety. That is a huge leap to go from one to another. So if you're expecting yourself to be able to make that leap alone or on a daily basis, then you're going to find that you're really, really frustrated. Then you're going to find like you're broken and you're a failure. And that's just not true. You're not broken. You're not a failure. There are concrete steps. There are recipes and formulas to follow. And what we're talking about doing is going from that, like, I'm jacked up all the time. Oh my God, will they just stop? To loving your kids, accepting them as they are, loving and accepting yourself as you are, being perfectly imperfect, being a mess and being fine with that, being able to laugh and be silly, being able to connect and enjoy this one beautiful life. I talk to so many moms who say, my biggest fear is I'm missing it. I am missing this. I don't know how to be here now, and so I'm missing it. I'm just mad about all of it, or I'm just sad. And we do only get this one shot with our kids. And how do you want to spend it? How do you want to look back and remember this time? Think of that. How do you want to look back and remember this weird, wacky time that we've lived in? I know for me and my family, we've had some incredible openings and breakthroughs, and not that there haven't been hard moments too. There have been hard moments, but when you are focused and being in the energy of that joyful life, that ease, that acceptance, that that calm, that peace. When you are in that space, then it is available for everyone else. It is available for your family, and that's what life then will start to reflect back to you. And you may have experienced that before. And it usually doesn't come like that. You got to practice. But it is possible to change any kind of, no matter how messy it is, you guys, no matter how tense, no matter how angry you feel, no matter how long you've been practicing those feelings and emotions, there's always room for growth and change. It's a problem of not having the right tools. I mean, 9 times out of 10. Sometimes the dedication or commitment isn't there. You know, and it isn't work. Like the work I'm doing with my clients to really shift them from that, like the world is doing this to me, so I feel this way, to I'm creating my world. I'm creating how I feel. That's it. I'm creating my world. I'm creating how I feel. And then that becomes normal for your family. That is a huge paradigm shift, and not everyone can do it. Not everyone can do it. I say 9 times out of 10. I think the realistic number is like, I don't know, out of this group, how many of you are ready? How many of you would really be ready to say yes to you to the point where you're ready to empty out? You're ready to empty out what you think you know. You're ready to empty out the way that you have related to the world or seen your life before. Ready to empty out and to fill up on new ways of thinking, new ways of being connected to you, new ways of navigating your emotional world, new ways of creating a mindset that is so resilient and strong that as a mom, your kids are learning from you every day how to be empowered, how to speak their truth, how to stay in compassion, how to forgive. That these are the things you're being, so these are the things that they're learning, which creates a beautiful, peaceful household, an empowered household where people respect each other and love each other. So that's my wish and intention for you, that you would just invite you to declare and to put your stake in the ground and say, I am not going to yell anymore. I refuse to put that on my kids, that they didn't create my anger. That's a big one. We like to think they created it. But this is in me. This is a me problem for me to fix. This is what anyone else can do to fix this. This is me. And so then we make a choice to do that work, or we make a choice to not do that work. And that's how simple it is. So I invite you to declare, to make your statement to the universe, to yourself. You can make it here too. To no more yell at my kids. I will not yell at my kids. And there may be a day that's really tough in the future and you snap and you notice that you haven't done it in a long time and you realize that, oh wow, that feels really horrible. And this happens to women who come to work with me. They'll come through a week in motherhood and then they'll get sort of weeks into the program or a couple months into our work together, and they'll have a hard day and they'll snap at the kids and they'll realize, like, I used to live there. That was my emotional home, and I haven't done that in a really long time, and it feels so horrible that I am crystal clear in what I no longer want as a part of my life and my family anymore, and what I do want. So those periods and episodes are rich in learning, and we can take our lessons from those. So what lessons can you take from where you are now? From what are you stuck in that you don't want to be stuck in? The anger, the yelling, the frustration, the impatience, the stressing and worrying about things that are beyond your control. If you're there and spinning wheels there and you don't want to stay there, then reach out to me. I will let you know if I can help you. I'll be very direct with you about that. If you've got the commitment level, the awareness that it takes, the readiness, and the willingness to learn and be teachable and coachable, then I'll tell you how we do it. I'll tell you how we get you there. And if not, then usually I have other ideas. I will so happily, so willingly help you choose your next step. What is going to help you get where you need to go? And for all my beautiful clients and awaken mothers out there who are tuning in and listening. Just celebrating with you so much your dedication and your commitment to transform your families, to transform yourself for the sake of your kids and your families. And invite you too to just drop in the comments, like, what difference does it make for your kids that you have gotten in charge of you emotionally? What is the impact on your kids? Because it is so huge. It's so big. When we stop putting our stuff on our kids, we allow them to be happy. They are allowed then to have their freedom. They're allowed to be so in their bliss. Okay, I need to wrap up. That was a half-hour mark. Please do drop your comments, give your shares, make your commitments and declarations, and reach out to me. I will put in, what I'm going to do right now is drop into the comments how you can reach out to me. So book a clarity call with me, then you're just going to, type into your, you're going to type in www.honorjanetsky.com/call. I just dropped it in the comments, so it's there for you. And drop in what you heard today, what you're taking with you. And excited to hear from you. All right, mamas, take care. See you again soon.